Welcome everyone. Today I'm with one of our amazing students, Andrew. Andrew, how are you doing today?
Great yourself, Shane.
I'm doing not too bad, man. So my first question for you here, Andrew, is when you first started looking into this space, right? When you first started, researching a little bit on Amazon and coming across my profile and whatnot, what do you feel like
Mhm.
was that first thing that was really like stopping you from taking the leap to get into all this?
I think it was perhaps the point in my life that I was in. I did very physical work back in the day. So to think about doing anything else, whether it was a side hustle or whether it was a full-time job, was just out of the question. And then when I decided to do it, I said to myself that I was going to do it. Now, as we both know, it took me some time. It took about 2 years. And then I found myself at the right point in my life to do it finally.
Absolutely. And I love that regardless of how much time it might have taken, what's important is you took the step, right? Like you confronted
Right.
it head on. And, now you're at this point where you're running your Amazon store. And what made you decide to like make that leap and join, with our program over anybody else's program?
Well, for one, I knew you not necessarily on a personal level, but I was following you and I saw your results. So I said to myself, I was like, this guy is keeping track every single day of his results. He's not stopping. He seems like a really cool guy and it's working. And he's not BSing. He's showing his stats and he's passionate about it and he's proving like many people can because it's definitely a doable industry. It's something that I think I remember one of your videos. You said like a monkey could do it. Now it's not necessarily that easy, but it is a very simple business model, and this guy's implementing it and showing that it works. And I think for many people on many different angles of their life or many different scenarios in their life, they can fit it in there and they can make it happen for themselves. And he's just a proof of that. So
Absolutely. I love that, man. And, it just
yeah.
goes to show that you've always seen the opportunity hill.
Uh-huh.
And it's just a matter of pertaining to if you bought something else, something that, other courses definitely lack is the accountability factor, right? And making sure
Right.
that you're being held accountable, you're being inspired, and your hand is being held, I guess you can say to a certain extent, just to make sure,
Yeah.
you're going along the proper steps. Now,
Right.
I know currently you are living in Asia. Now, despite that, how are things have been going with your Amazon store? What have you been able to achieve so far?
Oh, I think the gift of time being here has been the difference maker. I know a lot of people, again, it took me this long to start this because I didn't want to start this while I had 2 hours at the end of my day. Not saying people shouldn't do that because sometimes people have no choice, but I think especially if you have all the time in the world, like knowing what's happening now, if I wanted to do this and I could go back in time and there was no way I was going to be able to do this for myself or whatnot, I probably would have taken like a 1 month vacation somewhere and just worked every single day as much as humanly possible to stack up products and have a base to then flow with that, especially if it's before Q4 or Q3 and Q4. So, time was a big factor. I think being able to list like an animal as much as humanly possible really makes a difference. And I encourage anybody to do that. And, I think you can speak for yourself in a lot of your teachings, a lot of your monthly classes, you say, I remember even the tone of your voice, like just list as much as you can, even if it's not the buyer's box, even if it's not featured, even if it's the third one out, just do it. And all those things came true. Like you never know, maybe the person, even the two people in front of you, their orders will be completely sold out and then you're next in line. And it's even if the product is listed 2 months ago and it gets sold that day, you understand, okay, everything counts. It's a numbers game. And I think people need to understand that volume makes a difference in this, or at least that's my motto for myself for now.
Absolutely. You nailed it down on the head there in terms of it's a volume game. You got to list
Yeah.
as many products as you physically possibly can. And at the end of the day, right, it is a zero risk business model in the sense that if you list a product and it doesn't sell, you don't lose anything, right? You only can
Right.
ever really learn from that point
Yeah.
moving forward. And time, especially being able to have a lot of the time, is something that's very, very precious because we never get any of our time truly back.
Mhm.
So it's just a matter of like knowing if you can be able to buy more of your time. That's something that's extremely, extremely valuable in anybody's lives, no matter what type of thing that they actually do. Now,
Yeah.
when you consider how far you've been able to come so far,
Mhm.
what aspect of the program do you actually feel like really helped you get to the point of where you're at right now?
Good question. I think the community, I think the course itself is great. I think what really is the difference is this community that we got going on in the Slack department. You got Isaac in the office hours, you're participating all the time. Your top students feel that they should pay it forward because perhaps someone helped them years ago. And I know for a fact that if I keep doing this, which I will, I'll be more than happy to help somebody out who I can say to myself, wow, I actually remember that happened to me. That sucked. I'm going to help this person out because someone helped me out. And I think that's genius. I think that's perhaps even something that many other courses don't have in terms of this intimate of a setting. And I know your students are growing. However, there still seems to be the same amount of people. And even when there won't be, there probably will be people to replace them, such as myself and whatnot, who will be able to help others. And I think that that's really the game changer for me. I've used the group thoroughly. And even just earlier, I just had a little bit of a scare and I got an answer from Isaac. I got an answer from JP. He's been great. And it really assured me within minutes. Obviously, again, I'm here in Asia, so whatever I write, sometimes I have to wait 10 hours for it. But I know for a fact if I was in North America writing, I'd get answers in minutes every single time. And that's always a good thing.
I love that because the point of this whole entire community that we have is to be able to surround yourself with like-minded individuals who have the same goal, right? And much like what you mentioned, it could be people who have been doing this for a year. It could be people who have been doing this for a week, right? The point
Yeah,
is that we're all in this together to be able to support people and help each other become the best version of ourselves that we possibly can be.
right.
And if you were to see someone who's on the fence about this, who's scared about making the investment, they're having doubts about whether or not this actually works, they're scared if it can actually, be successful for them. What would you
Yeah.
say to someone like that?
Obviously, the variables would have to depend, but in general, what I would say is, like you said, it's a zero risk business model. It's true in terms of many business models. If you're looking at the least possible risk, drop shipping really is there. Apart from the course itself, some of the extensions, it's really such a small startup. And you'd have to ask the person, how much do you value passive income? I mean, I don't think people understand how good passive income feels until they actually start getting it. Because it's great to walk to the beach knowing that I just made $50 this morning, and there's probably more to come by the end of the day, especially in a place like Asia where everything's very cheap. If someone would want to do what I have always wanted to do and I'm doing, and want to buy a course like this, for example, go somewhere in the world where they can have all the time in the world to learn, to implement, to execute, and then to succeed, I would say go for it. And even then, if you're, like I said, in Canada, if you're in states where the cost of living is the cost of living as it is, just make the time and it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. I would give it 100% a go, even if I was there.
I love that, Andrew. I appreciate your time, man, and your journey
Yeah.
here selling on Amazon is just starting, to say the least. So
Oh, yeah.
you got a lot more to
100.
conquer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely something that's not going to stop anytime soon.
Absolutely.